But one of the key things is, like, first, users also need to care. They need to realize that they have the need to have better privacy and why that's important. They need to realize what Francis said, that the blockchain is forever. I mean, all of us here today, I think, believe that Bitcoin is going to be around forever, or at least a really long fucking time. And if that's the case, you know, things you do today can really hurt you in the future. So I think first and foremost, we need users to be aware, to seek those tools. Fortunately, in countries where you have more restrictions, places like Venezuela and Cuba, I feel like users there, and maybe you guys could shed some light here, they realize the need more than, let's say, Americans who are like, I trust my bank, I trust my government, everything's, you know, great.
I think the number one thing that I learned from seeing Cuban Bitcoiners operate is, you know, first of all, us here, we have a lot of, you know, ideas about freedom, etc. A lot of, you know, theory goes into it, but people there, they just want it to work, right? If, you know, and they use it because it works. And the other thing that I saw that I think that a lot of us could learn from is that it's very peer-to-peer. I mean, there's no centralized exchange, right? There's no exchange where you can, you know, go give your passport and they'll give you Bitcoin. So it has to be peer-to-peer. And I think that we could get better at building, you know, tools. I know there's quite a few that exist, but, you know, just avoiding the need to go through an centralized exchange that asks for your ID, because in the future, you know, it might become an issue if there's a database somewhere that leaks that says that such person bought this much Bitcoin over that much time.
And I think that's why we need to really continue pushing the narrative that Bitcoin is a transactional system. It's not just a number go up system, because if you want to make Bitcoin censorship resistant, you need to have a circular economy. That is, you receive your wage in Bitcoin and you spend Bitcoin at the merchant. That way you don't have to go through an exchange that is going to do KYC AML. I mean, obviously, if the government was going to ban Bitcoin, what they're going to do is very simple. They're going to prevent the banks from giving banking capabilities to the Bitcoin users so that they're no longer able to buy or sell Bitcoin, right? So what is the alternative? It's the circular economy. And another thing we need to do is we need to reclaim. So as you said, the defaults are really important, and it's not necessarily defaults at the wallets, which is important, but also defaults at the exchanges. Exchanges have really bad privacy practices.
Yeah.
A, because they suck. Two, because they're pussies. Like, a lot of them started to self-regulate on privacy. There was no regulation forcing exchanges to do chain analysis, to like have some provenance of fuzz. They really wanted to, you know, kiss the ass of the banks and come to them and say, oh, look, we are actually tracking the Bitcoins. Please give us a bank account. We're doing everything in our power to stop these criminals. So the exchanges are the ones that are causing a lot of the problems. And these are like very strong centralized hubs in the Bitcoin transactional system, and we need to reclaim the narrative of privacy being compliant to privacy laws. There are privacy laws that are very strong in multiple countries, and in most countries it is illegal, or you get it's non-compliant to have business practices that allow the user's data to be leaked to third parties without consent. If you're using the same address for deposits, if you're not protecting, if you're batching inputs in a really bad way and you're an exchange, you're actually probably breaking privacy laws, right?
Absolutely.
So to be a compliant exchange means to protect the user's transactional data on the blockchain. And because it's not only governments that are tracking people, by the way, you have hackers, fraudsters, people want to kidnap you, your wife wants to check on your stuff, maybe another business is trying to reverse engineer how much volume you're doing. I have had, you know, I know that some other exchanges were trying to dox, for example, like Bull Bitcoin's transactions, you see, because they want to know who our liquidity provider was. So there is a corporate sabotage aspect to this. So we need to reclaim the narrative. Okay, so CoinJoin is privacy law compliance.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point. You know, if you look
Is that the jukebox, Jess?
This over there, yes, the jukebox.
That's it.
Just the last of it?